With the help of my lovely assistant, my 10-year-old granddaughter, Evie Isabella, okay? Ready? All right. Louie, here. Good boy. Sit. Down. Excellent. All right. Ta-da. That's it for the tricks. That's all Louie does as far as any kind of tricks. If you haven't noticed, he's not very much into them. But what Louie does do really well is he demonstrates transformation because he stands here today as a totally transformed dog. Now, I know you don't like to look at that side, so let's go over this way. Sit. Good boy. So we want to invite you on a journey that we've taken. I know me standing here with this adorable, cute little dog, you think I'm going to talk about unconditional love. And I want to tell you, I'm not going to talk about that today. In fact, I'm actually waiting for the unconditional love of this dog. Our journey has been really tough, and I want to share it with you today because it's been a journey where I have actually learned the very valuable lesson of leadership and love. So when I first adopted Louie almost 5 years ago, he displayed behaviors that were incredibly challenging, made me question whether or not my decision to adopt him was the right decision. But something incredible happened when I engaged a dog trainer. You see, I wasn't learning just dog training techniques. I was actually experiencing leadership development from a totally unconventional method that I would not have been aware of before had it not been for this dog. It's been beneficial for me, and it's been beneficial for him. It's a method I've taught my grandchildren. It's a method I teach other people. But let me take you back a little bit. In 2013, I decided to go through an Adopt-A-Pet weekend to look at some dogs. I was planning to get a dog, but I thought, I'll just look. Mistake. So I see this dog. His name was Chandler, and he's very regal looking, as you can tell. I mean, he's a very regal looking dog, so Chandler kind of fit. He was very calm, very docile. I went through all the stages that I needed to do in order to adopt him, and I adopted him, took him home, and I named him Louie DiStasi. Now, I know it fits. Much better than Chandler, I thought. A few hours later, after I got him home, he started displaying some really bad behaviors. He started to be aggressive, he was whiny, he was anxious, he was fearful, he played rough. All these things I had no idea how to handle. And so I decided, I'm not really sure I want this dog. In fact, I was pretty sure I didn't want him. And so I know, Lou, I know it's hard to hear this part of the story, because it's going to be difficult. I actually called the shelter to ask them, what does it entail to have this dog come back? What should I do to send this little dog back? And the shelter said, oh, please try to work with him. We don't know his background. We don't know if he was abandoned, if he was a runaway. We know nothing about it. What we do know is that we worked very hard to try to find his family, and no one claimed this poor little dog. And so here we are. The adventures of Louie DiStasi began. I had to choose to love him. Even though he displayed many unlovable behaviors, I had to make a choice to love this dog. Now, Louie's not unlike all of us sitting in this audience today. We display many unlovable behaviors, I'm pretty sure, throughout the day. But love and being loved and loving others is the number one human need that we all have, and yet it is our most elusive. Very rarely do we actually feel loved. One of the things I had to choose to do was to love this dog, which opened my eyes to what love actually means. Now, this group here, of all the groups that I talked to, probably really understands love. But I'm going to challenge you a little bit on thinking, kind of having a mind shift about love. First of all, this is so foundational. It's foundational for me. First of all, I had to not do something to love. I had to choose to be a loving person. And I chose to be a loving person to Louie and then to others. And the second thing that I understood, and thanks to some of my friends who have shared information with me, I had to look at how do I view other people. Do I see them as a nuisance, as a bother? Do I see them as an object? You see, I think people abuse dogs because they see them as inanimate objects. Kids bully kids because they see them as objects. People abuse people because they see them as objects. We do some really hateful things on Facebook because the object of our rants is just that, an object. And so I want to challenge you to think about that. Not only did I have to choose to love Louie, and I was going to be this loving person, there are many characteristics to love, and you know what they are. Love is patient, love is kind. All right, I can stop right there. Patience and kindness, not at the top of the list for Danise DiStasi. Louie challenged me on this patience thing. I had to learn to be patient with him. Even in disciplining him for some bad behaviors, I had to learn to really be kind yet firm with him. And it paid off. And so Louie and I really learned a valuable lesson in love. We're still learning it today. I'm still learning. But I want to challenge you to think about being a loving person and then not seeing people as objects. So we went through several stages of our journey together. And the first one was understanding love, continues today. The second one was really understanding an objective that my trainer gave me. He said, you have a very clear objective, Denise. You have to step up and be the alpha. I said, what? He didn't know I'm alpha? I mean, how could he not know I'm alpha? I'm bigger than him. I own the home. I feed him. How could he not know I'm alpha? I assumed, like many of us do, that just because I'm leader, that he would know I'm leader. And my not being the leader or stepping up because I was defeated, he wore me out, I was causing confusion. So objective was the next stage that we went through. And then I had to learn to really understand his background. All of us bring baggage into our personal and professional relationships, all of us. And it takes a lot of patience and kindness to really understand somebody's background and to love them through their stuff. Then the next thing was really understanding investment, investing in him. I invested time. I invested time in training. I invested time in that little girl over there to handle him. I invested all kinds of money, time, training to really get him to the stage he's at right now, which is he's empowered to be a good, healthy, fun-loving dog. Now, in case you haven't noticed, those stages, which is love, objectives, understand, investment, and empower, spells Louie. And that will not be a leadership model you will soon forget because of this little dog here. So I want to leave you with this in hopes that you are working and being intentional about being a better leader and a better person. If I've challenged you in nothing else today, I want to make sure that I challenged you to be a loving person and to not see people as objects. Now, while I stand here with a very transformed dog, I am really happy to admit that I am actually the one who's been transformed over this journey. Thanks so much.